Hello, it's Florida Coasters here. I'm going to be talking about Pipeline, the surf coaster at SeaWorld Orlando. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing it, of course. Also talking about if it's a good ride, if I recommend the ride, and how the ride has done for the park, or at least seems to have done for the park, and if I would recommend this ride. So Pipeline, the surf coaster is a very unique coaster. Of course, a stand-up coaster. There hasn't been too many made. I think there's been one made since 1999 in the United States. Which this ride is the evolution of the stand-up coaster, the original B&M stand-up coaster. And this ride, I would say, does that very well, being an evolution, because it fixes majority of the things wrong with the old B&M stand-up coasters. And I think, generally, this ride improved everything about the old B&M stand-up coasters, which, of course, also includes capacity. Loading is slightly faster, it seems, with these new trains, in my opinion. Formerly in this area of the park, there wasn't really much. It was like a pathway. It was not much. But, of course, when this ride opened, this area got nice refurb around the ride. And the area looks pretty nice now. Of course, it's themed to surfing, which is kind of nice. And I just generally like that kind of theme. It looks very nice, especially being in Florida, of course. You know, the beaches and stuff. But, anyways, let's get into the part of this ride that is, of course, objective. But the layout and what I think about that layout. Let's start off with the launch. The launch is pretty powerful, I have to say. Of course, nothing crazy, but it's a pretty good launch. Especially for B&M, which they've not done too many LSM launches before. After that, the overbank, or before that, the airtime, during the launch, gives nice airtime. And then you fly up into overbank, which nice forces, perfectly fine. Then you go into a few more elements. A large switchback hill that gives some good airtime, and a large corkscrew-like inversion, which is pretty nice inversion, I gotta say. Then you go into some trims, but then you go up into a hill that banks into a helix. You weave around a few more times on some lower to the ground turns. Pretty nice sense of speed. Then go into another switchback kind of thing. I'm not sure exactly what you would consider it. Into some more turns. Into your final switchback, which is kind of uncomfortable. By far the most uncomfortable part of the ride, but it is still a good part of the ride. And you go into the brake run. So this ride is decent in length. I like to ride in that way. The ride gives some decent forces, some decent positives, some good negatives, even if they're kind of weird negatives. Either way, I like the negatives on this ride. Or negative G-forces, more specifically. And this ride, I do enjoy. I think it was a good addition to this park. And I would say, from the lines it gets, it is also, majority of other people think that. Now let's talk about, commercially, how does this ride do? How long the lines are, how much is broken down, if, all the people at the park enjoy the ride. Let's just start off with, is it reliable? Yes, it is. I've only maybe seen it once breakdown, which, that was during, the pass holder preview for it. But of course, that was right when it opened, so that's understandable. That's really the only time I've seen it broken down, because of course the B&M reliability is, great. The ride generally has pretty long lines compared to the other rides at the park. SeaWorld normally doesn't have too long lines, generally. But Pipeline, sometimes you'll see it have a shorter line, station wait. But majority of the time, especially in the mornings, it has a consistent, good, or longer wait time to 30-ish minutes. Which, of course is good for the park, that people are enjoying the ride. And it seems like when people are getting off the ride, they seem to have enjoyed it, at least from their facial expressions, and what my family, which are part of the general public, think about the ride. So now let's talk about the viability of the surf coaster in the future at other parks for B&M. I believe this model has a very bright future. I think I'll at least get a few more installations due to the success of Pipeline, and also just the quality of the ride, and the general public really liking it, and the enthusiasts thinking it's pretty good to, fine. So I think that this model will be very successful, especially at larger chain parks that, of course, will like B&Ms, which, of course, some parks already would be taken off of that because some parks already have stand-up coasters. But I think at parks that don't have stand-up coasters, I think this could be a cool coaster that they could add. I think will be added at least a few more installations in the future in the United States of America, which might be also part of the SeaWorld chain. I would not be surprised. The SeaWorld and B&M have been working together a lot recently, I've noticed. Either way, I think positively of this ride, and I would recommend it if you do have the time to ride it while you're at SeaWorld Orlando. Of course, if it does have a very long line, I would say go on Mako, Kraken, Manta before it. But I would say, prioritize it over something like Icebreaker, especially with Icebreaker having very long lines. So I would recommend to ride this ride if you do have the chance, and if the line is not too long. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully I see you guys in the next video. Peace.